This is an evidence room. It's our evidence storage. So in here we have temporary lockers for the officers to put property. This is a drying cabinet. So if you get, say, a crime scene where there's something wet or a bloody shirt or something like that, you can't just hang it up out in the open because it could collect other DNA on it. So it has to be in a secure, clean, safe environment. So this basically is like a big drying machine for hanging up evidence. Then once it's dry, it can be packaged up depending on what it is. If it's something that has moisture in it, you package it in paper. If it's something that's very dry, like a piece of metal, like a knife or a gun, sometimes you can use something in plastic. They put property tags on the items, and then they log it in to the system with the property tag number, and then they put it in the locker. And everything's barcoded, like all the lockers are barcoded, so that the detective that's processing the property, he can just take a barcode reader, zap the property, zap the locker where it's at, and it automatically goes into the system. So we saw where we store evidence downstairs. This is sort of where we process evidence upstairs. There's like an aquarium over there on the one shelf. What officers do to try to get fingerprints from a crime scene, like an article, sometimes you'll try dusting it with powder, but sometimes the powder doesn't get anything. So they use a technique that's been in effect for probably the last 20 years, is they basically just take some tin foil with a light bulb with heat on it and put crazy glue on it. And when that crazy glue starts to get warm, it starts emitting like a white smoke that's very sticky. And then that will adhere to the fingerprints, and sometimes you can get a print that way. You don't see this too much, but it's an old fingerprint inking system. Every now and then you'll have to take fingerprints of someone. So back in the day, when I was much younger, we used to have to fingerprint everybody we arrested. Use ink on there, doot, 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 roll it out, put the cards in, roll the fingerprints. Pretty much we only do it for, we have to fingerprint juveniles if it's a serious offense like a felony. A lot of times we'll have applicants, police officer applicants. People will want us to take their fingerprints if they're applying for some sort of special license. We try to defer those to some of the other departments that actually charge for it, but we don't charge for it. We do have something called Fast ID, which is in our we have one of those units in our squad. So if somebody was ever arrested before, they'll take this Fast ID, which is about the size of a cell phone. You'll roll their finger in that, and if it's a clear fingerprint, it'll come back instantly with their identity. Comes in handy, like on traffic stops, theft investigations such as at Walmart, places where people are trying to be deceiving with who they are.